Hello again, Press Forward podcast listeners. Micah Dailey here from WPMU Dev, and welcome to the final week of PressPause, a collaborative mini-series by WPN and WPMU Dev, designed to encourage listeners to slow down, breathe, and remember that WordPress is more than just a great piece of software or lines of code. It's made up of real people and a community that's enriched by its ability to celebrate diversity and practice inclusion. One of the ways this culture is displayed is at WordPress-focused gatherings like WordCamps and local meetups. It's at these events, in thousands of tiny moments, that individuals like you and me experience and rehearse this culture. And those tiny moments are the focus of this mini-series. On each episode, Nathan Wrigley and I call on WordCamp goers from around the globe to hear stories from the camps they attended. It could be a special conversation, a session that stuck with them, or a particular interaction that had a lasting impact. Sometimes, the best motivation is stopping to hear the experiences of those around us. And hey, maybe these episodes will inspire some of you to get out there and make some WordCamp memories of your own. So, here we go. Let's jump in to episode number 11. This episode of PressPause is brought to you by WPMU Dev, your all-in-one platform for managing, optimizing, securing, and branding WordPress sites. Let me break down how WPMU Dev works. You go to their site, set up a membership, and boom, you get access to all their tools and services, like the hub for site management, fully dedicated hosting, 24/7 support for all things WordPress, Smush, the award-winning image optimizer, Branda, the white labeling master, and so much more. Visit WPMUdev.com today to start your 30-day free trial. Sadly, this is my last PressPause episode. Well, at least for now. But don't worry, because Nathan has episodes for you all the way up until the end of this week at WordCamp Europe. For my last hurrah, I thought it would be cool to bring on my friend and co-worker, Felicia. Felicia is one of the blog writers here at WPMU Dev. She lives one state away from me in California, and earlier this year, her and her husband made the approximately 6-hour trek to Arizona for WordCamp Phoenix 2019, and that's where I got to meet her for the very first time. What's your introduction to WordCamps? Why did you feel the need to try them out?
So really, because I don't like being around a lot of people, and especially people I don't know.
Sure.
It kind of, I don't know, it makes me like antsy. So the only reason I wanted to go and that I ended up going is because all of you were going to be there and I wanted to meet you all.
Yeah.
So that was the reason. I mean, it wasn't around the corner. It was a long drive and a long drive back.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, this might be my only chance. So I'm going to go.
That's awesome. I'm glad you did.
I'm glad I did too, because I feel like meeting somebody in person, then you just kind of get their vibe. And then like now talking to you, like in my mind, I see you and like I hear you and you know?
Yeah. So let's hear your story. What's one or two of the things that have really stuck out to you in your WordCamp visits?
So one of my favorite moments in my WordCamp history, just because it kind of changed how I saw everything. It was at WordCamp Phoenix. And like I said, I don't like being around like crowds and like approaching people I don't know. It just feels like really awkward and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so I've kind of always avoided those situations just because I just really don't like it. But I was like, it's going to be cool because I'm going to be there with all of you. And I remember stepping away just before lunch and then coming back to the table. And I don't know where everybody went, but I was like, oh, looks like I'm going to have lunch by myself after all. And it was kind of cool with it because I was like, well, I've already had a lot of social interaction, so maybe being by myself is kind of a good thing. And I was like at a sponsor table, and then this other chick started talking to me, and her name is Amina. And just the way that we were like talking, it was like we were already friends. It was like I had gone to Phoenix to hang out with my friend and we were just catching up. Like the conversation was so natural, so easy, and she's just so open and positive that it was like we were talking and then we were like, hey, do you just want to go outside and have lunch? And we're like, yeah, sure. And we went out there, we had lunch together, and it was one of my favorite moments just because like I think that because I've always avoided putting myself in those kind of situations, like I forgot that those situations can have good outcomes. I was always kind of focusing on the negative aspects on like, oh, I'm going to be by myself. I'm going to have to be awkward. I'm going to have to approach people I don't know. And then what if they give me like a weird face? And I'm just going to sit there. And to have like a totally different experience and to connect with somebody so naturally, it was really cool. Like it made me want to like, I really should get out there more. If this is what I've been missing out on, then I want more of it.
Oh, that's so awesome. Do you think that played a part in you a couple months after WordCamp Phoenix going to WordCamp Orange County?
Yeah, it did. Because, I mean, by then I was like, well, I'm not going to have anybody else. I'm just going to go by myself. But I was like, you know what? If I have some experiences like that, that'll be worth it. Yeah. So, yeah, I went. I mean, it wasn't the same experience, but it was still like putting yourself in that, like out of your comfort zone, I think is always good. I was trying to do that more. So yeah. I still walked away with a good experience.
There's so many beautiful things about Felicia's story. I could write this entire conclusion on how brave it was for her to step out and leave her comfort zone. But it didn't end there. Amina stepped out, and so did hundreds of other people. Oftentimes we get so caught up in what might happen that we never just step out. And trust me, I know how hard that is to overcome. Existing and engaging with others outside of your comfort zone requires a level of bravery and self-confidence. We have to hope that others will step out as well. Do you have a sort of pitch that you, like if you were to encourage someone to give WordCamps a try, what would you say?
I mean, I think I would say that one, I don't think it's bad to be by yourself. I think that we're taught to kind of internalize that if you're sitting there by yourself, you're just a big old loser. And I think that part of it is just being like, hey, you're not always going to be around people that you know, and that doesn't mean that that's something on you, Yeah. So I think that that's one thing, and I think that ability to just be able to sit by yourself, I think that and be just comfortable, people approach you because they're kind of also sometimes in that space.
Yeah, that's good.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, for sure, it's easier said than done. But I think that there's something really important to that, which I could definitely learn from. Like I often walk away from social settings and be like, oh, did I say something dumb, or did I screw up, or did I offend somebody? But I think that there's something valuable there to like not burden yourself so heavily with like being perfect.
Yeah, I think there's like a meme of like, do you ever just stay awake at night remembering things you did like in first grade? Like just being awkward.
No, I totally do that. I'm just like, why did I have friends? Why did these people hang out with me? I was such a weirdo.
But now I kind of like the weirdos, so now I kind of get it.
Exactly, yeah. And we find the weirdos everywhere we go.
And actually that may be the best takeaway from this whole thing, is that there are other weirdos.
Yes, yeah.
So be your best weird self, because they will find you.
Yes, be your best weird self and you will be found. That's a perfect note to end on, actually. The Press Forward podcast is a production of WPMU. The PressPause mini-series is a collaborative effort by WPMU Dev and WPNUP. Nathan Wrigley and me, Micah Dailey, produced this episode, and I created the original score. Thank you to my friend and yours, Felicia, for participating in this episode. Thanks WPNUP for having me in their podcast feed these past few weeks. As someone who looks into the eyes of depression and anxiety every day, this series and the mission of WPNUP has been a special reminder for me. And lastly, thank all of you for listening. Remember that together we can press forward.